Preparing for the TOEFL, but your reading scores are standing still? It used to seem familiar. You see it, read long academic texts, and answer questions. But the new TOEFL format has staged a real revolution. Long texts have completely disappeared. In their place came compact academic texts, short everyday inserts like announcements were added, the complete the word task appeared, and the section itself is now adaptive and divided into two models. Many continue to prepare using old templates and 5-year-old manuals, losing precious points. The time for the section is now incredibly short, about 30 minutes for 35-50 questions. Hello everyone, my name is Alexandra. I've been teaching English for over 10 years and professionally preparing students for the TOEFL and IELTS exams at the AEG school. Today we will break down the top 5 most offensive and fatal mistakes of the new TOEFL reading format. You will find out why old strategies no longer work, how not to fail into the trap of adaptive models, and how to scan texts like a pro. Let's go! You open an academic text. Even if it now has only 300-400 words, intuition tells you, first, I will carefully think about everything, and then I will crack all the questions like nuts. Sounds logical? Does it work on the TOEFL? Absolutely not. If you spend 5 minutes thoughtfully reading every line of the text, your time will simply leak nowhere. Under the conditions of the new strict timing, you don't have the luxury of rereading text. How to act correctly? You need a parallel solving strategy. Open the text, quickly run your eyes over the title and the first sentence. Understand that the text is about ancient civilizations and immediately move on to the first question. Questions in the TOEFL usually go in chronicle order. The first refers to the first paragraph, the second to the second. Read the question, highlight the words, find this paragraph, and look for the answer. This way, you constantly read the text with a clear goal without overloading your brain with unnecessary information that they didn't even plan to ask you about. The second mistake flows smoothly from the first. Having learned not to read the whole text, students begin to simply passively scan the lines in search of identical words. This is called passive reading. You see the word in the question and frantically look for the same word in the paragraph. Found the words, chose a similar answer, and missed. Creators love to catch you on this. They use paraphrasing, and answers with exact word matches are most often decoys with a distorted meaning. How to act correctly? Implement active reading. Read a paragraph mentally in 2 seconds, make a mini summary like for a 10-year-old child, for example, they talk about the fact that it is difficult for bees to live in the cities. When you understand the real essence of what you read, you will never fall for a false substitution of a fact in the answers. The exam tests understanding, not the ability to play find 10 identical words game. This is an absolutely new pitfall of the 2026 format. The reading section now works according to an adaptive scheme. First, you go through the routine model, basic for everyone, and then, depending on your results, the system throws in a hard or easy model. Many students are used to the old tactics. I'll leave a difficult question for later, return it at the very end of the test before the timer rings. Attention! You will not be able to return to routine model as soon as it ends. If you have unanswered questions left there, that's it. They are burned forever. In addition, you have less than 1 minute for a regular question and literally seconds for the new complete the words tasks. How to act correctly? Watch the timing of a specific model. Stuck on a complex inference for more than 1 minute? Make a note on the draft, choose the best option in your opinion, and move on. Your main principle: there should be no empty windows left after the model expires. Not a single question is worth missing 5 simple facts at the end because of this. The fourth mistake lies in how you interact with options A, B, C, and D. It's naive to try to immediately choose the correct answer. Incorrect options are formed according to strict trap templates. For example, the two-categorical trap. The text says, some scientists agree, and the answer option, all scientists agree. One word like always, never, or all changes the meaning completely. Or the part of the truth trap. When the beginning of the sentence perfectly matches the text and the ending is thought up, this is pure fantasy of exam creators. How to act correctly? Always use the method of elimination. Draw the letters A, B, C, or D on a draft and physically cross out the incorrect ones. A small remark: if you are taking the home version of TOEFL, regular paper drafts are strictly prohibited. You will need a small whiteboard or one sheet of paper in a transparent file with an erasable marker. So cross out the options physically, write on it. Option A is too categorical. Option C is completely out of the scope, like was not in the text, and we cross them out. You are left with the option B, even if it is cleverly paraphrased. Crossing out ensures your brain against the illusions of the exam. The fifth mistake that stalls hundreds of students is solving tests for the sake of quantity. You did a practice reading, got 3 points out of 6, got upset, and immediately went to solve a new test. Your brain is unable to independently rebuild neural pathways if you don't point out the mistake to it. If the problem is that you constantly miss the particle not in negative factual questions or fall for substitutions of meanings, the next test will end with the same score. How to act correctly? Practice without analysis is running in place. Keep a mistake diary. Analyze each of your misses like a detective. For example, is it because you don't know a keyword? Write it down. Is it an incorrectly perceived question? Highlight a rule for yourself to underline the word except on the draft. Or is it a trap based on background knowledge where you thought up the answer because of your personal erudition? Only thoughtful surgical elaboration of each mistake ensures inevitable score growth. Let's name the 5 main rules of survival in the new reading. Read in parallel with the questions, not the whole text entirely. Turn on active understanding. Translate complex thoughts into simple language. Remember about modularity. You won't be able to return to the tasks from the first module. Close the answers on time. Use the method of elimination. Do not look for the right answer, but kill 3 wrong ones. Analyze every mistake under a microscope in a special diary. Do you know what the secret to high scores is? In the right strategy. If you are preparing to take the TOEFL and want to get the maximum score considering all the 2026 changes, sign up for a free introductory diagnostics at AG School. We will honestly evaluate your skills and build a step-by-step plan that will bring you to the result without unnecessary stress and burnt nerve cells. The link is in the description. And which of the reading questions do you personally spend the most time on? Write in the comments, it will be interesting to know. This was Alexandra. Good luck with your tests and see you soon!